The forest industry can be both an interesting and a confusing occupation all at the same time. It's an occupation that's steeped in different levels of plan development, different levels of legislation, company, government policy, different acronyms that we use on an ongoing basis. And this can be a little bit confusing to different members of the public that we ask to help get engaged and give us some feedback on our plans. We have a number of different levels of plans that we work with over the course of time. Everything from the broad to the specific. We have a broad forest management plan that starts modeling out to a 200-year planning horizon. It takes a look at the impact of other resource values like water, wildlife, access controls, and those types of things. We have other levels of plan which get into a little bit more of a finer level of detail, such as the general development plan or the forest harvest plan, and they look at all the way down to a block level of detail. Aside from that, we have plans that deal with reforestation, log haul, road construction, reclamation, and so on. As members of the public, it can be a little bit confusing because we ask you to engage with us and give us some feedback on our different plans. So how do you know how to get involved? Well, first of all, take a look at what your area of interest might be. Take a look at our website. You can do a little bit of reading on this different planning hierarchy that I just mentioned and see where your interest is and how it might fit into one of these different levels of plans. We do have all sorts of opportunities for public involvement on all these different levels of plan development. So that's step number one. Step number two is we want to make sure that people understand some of the limitations that we have as a company and how we develop our plans. We do have an obligation to follow a number of different levels of government acts, regulations, and policy. We also have higher order land use plans like the South Saskatchewan Regional Land Use Plan that we're obliged to follow. We have to make sure that our forest management plan is in alignment with this broader land use plan. We have different types of tenure. We have a forest management agreement, which is an area-based tenure, and we have timber quotas, which are a volume-based tenure. Sometimes the different tenures result in different responsibilities and obligations that the company has, and what we have authority for actually being able to accomplish and do on the landscape. Sometimes we may end up having to refer people to the government where they have the responsibility for some of the different levels of plan development. It's an exciting time in that our plans aren't just based on the old stereoscope mapping type of technology. We have a lot of new things at our fingertips now that we never used to have. We've got LiDAR mapping, we've got very detailed digital elevation models, wet area mapping, we've got visualization modeling, we have water modeling, and they all make for a much greater level of accuracy in our plan development. And I think do a pretty reasonable job of incorporating all these different resource values into our forest harvest plans. So there's lots of different technical things that we deal with, lots of exciting modeling and computer technologies at our fingertips that we didn't used to have. We operate on crown lands. It's always a balancing act between different resource values that we're trying to accommodate. But at the end of the day, it also makes it for a very exciting process and one that should give us a pretty good management strategy and plan for that piece of property out west of Calgary.